I'm Allie, and today on Plotopsy Dissecting Stories, we have Kyla Rowse discussing her super fun and spicy travel romance, Turtley Into You. Let's get right into it. Turtley Into You is completely delightful, and there were several scenes between Junie and Steven that had me laughing. Was there a scene that made you laugh while you were writing it?
I think there were a couple probably, but the first one that comes to mind when I read this question is the spicy hammock scene. There are two. The one that's included in Turtley Into You is a self-pleasure scene from Steven, which was fun to write. I don't recommend doing that in real life in public where anyone could see you, but this is a book, so it's a safe place and we could do what we want. And then the second one is a fade to black scene in the book, but I did write the actual full out spicy hammock scene in a bonus chapter that you can read if you'd like. And I love the ridiculousness of it. I don't know if you've ever tried to have sex on a hammock. I'm not going to comment on myself, but just think of how hammocks work, and they swing back and forth, and they're very funny. And the physics on it can get a little strange, but it's definitely fun to try.
I think part of what makes this book so fun is Junie herself. I love a sunshine character because I am nothing like that, so it's fun to read. But was it easier or harder to write from a sunshine character's perspective versus a more introspective one?
To be perfectly honest, writing a sunshiny character was hard for me. I'm prone to anxiety, and so it was a big thing to focus on making sure that she always turned everything into a positive. It's definitely not something that comes naturally to me, but I hope it's a fun experience to read. It was a fun character to write for sure, and I should definitely try to be more like Junie, I think.
I can absolutely relate. I'm anxious right now. So if you didn't write Junie solely based on your own personality, were there any of her quirks or habits that came from real life inspiration?
I think I said before that Junie and I are very different. I'm definitely not a sunshine character in real life. I think I can be excited about things, but I am by nature anxious, introverted, and pretty quiet. But it's hard not to put any of yourself into characters because that's what I know. And so definitely all the details about her over planning this trip, watching vlogs, having lists, like that was definitely how I used to be when I first started traveling. Not for the idea of checking off lists, but just because you don't want to miss anything. So you have to know all the things. And even now, when I'm in a season of my life where I'm working a lot more and I'm not able to do as much travel, I definitely just watch travel vlogs and stuff for fun and just keep a little list going of like, what would I do if I got to go there? So in that way, that's probably the biggest piece of me that I put into Junie. But I love travel. What can I say?
It's really obvious in the book that you have a passion for traveling. So I have to ask, how do you think travel and exposure to new environments influences personal growth? And how did you translate that into the story?
This is like my bread and butter. I did not leave the country, the US, where I was born, until I was 24. And I just remember the very first time that the wheels of the plane landed on the ground, and I was just like, this is real. Like, all the places that I've read about, other places exist. And then you get off the plane. I was in England, so it wasn't too much of a culture shock. And people speak differently, and I was never the same. On that first trip, I went to England, Ireland, and France, and I had taken French in school, but I had never spoken to an actual French person in my life. And the friend that I was with didn't speak French. I remember we got off the Eurostar in Paris, and the signs were in French, and I could read them. And it felt like unlocking a key to a completely different world. Like, it felt like I had some sort of cheat sheet or some password to things that she didn't. Like, it was just the coolest feeling as someone who loves words. And I've just been trying to recreate that high ever since. Every place that I've been to, I learned new things. I've met people from all over the world. I'm from the US. I took a year off to travel for a year. I went to about 20 countries in that year, and I did a working holiday in New Zealand, which is a visa that allows you to live and work for 1 year. And now it's 2 years later, and I'm still living in New Zealand, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Travel is a huge part of my life. I think it's completely changed me as a person, and especially people in the US, I think, because it's so big and it is much more rare for people from the US to get a passport or travel outside the US. I really, really think it can change your entire life. I think it's worth analyzing the things you do, just things that you take for granted, like that's just how it's done. And then you go to another country and it's nothing like that, and they think you're ridiculous. Even just driving on the other side of the road, like we take driving for granted. If you do it every day, if you commute to work every day, it kind of just becomes second nature, like back of your mind, not even thinking about it. But now that I'm driving on the left, I think about it all the time. Like I've been driving for 16 years, but I feel like a baby behind the wheel, like everything is new again. And that's the feeling I get every time I go to a new country or a place that I've never been or hear a language. I love how Arabic reads from right to left, and I just think like how different must your brain be if you experience the world like that. And so I think everyone should try new things and talk to people who are different than you. And if you can't travel outside your country, then go somewhere in your state that you've never been, or talk to people who are from a different place and just be genuinely curious. I really just think that that's the key to life, is just always learning new things, experiencing new things. And that's what I want all of my books to be. This is my first book in a travel romance series. I'm working on my current work in progress, which is a road trip romance through Iceland, which I'm really excited about. And the one after that, I think, will be in Paris, but I have some really exciting ideas, especially one in Turkey and one in Morocco. Mostly just my favorite places that I've been. But Japan's been number one on my travel list for most of my life, and I still haven't been, so I'm sure once I finally make it over there, I'll immediately be coming up with Japan stories too. I really just want my stories to be a bridge for people who either can't travel or want to travel or just want ideas for places. Whenever I'm about to go somewhere new, the first thing I do is look up books that take place there. So I kind of just want to be that one-stop shop for people to get some spicy romance, to get some fun ideas for things you can do somewhere, but ultimately just to feed that travel bug and keep it going.
So I think in addition to the travel and the romance, what makes Turtley Into You so great is the heart of the story, which is about Junie's grandmother. How did you explore the idea of grief and moving forward in Junie's journey while keeping it uplifting?
I think that for me, writing the book and was just because I lived it, really. I had the amazing opportunity after 3 years of planning and saving and just crossing my fingers and hoping it all worked out. I got to take a break from working as a teacher to travel the world for a year on a very, very tiny budget. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. Like, it was a life dream I worked really hard for, and only 3 months into it is when my grandma died. I was really far away from home, and I was literally about to start walking the Camino de Santiago the next day, which is a 30-day hike through Spain, and I couldn't just leave. I mean, I guess I could, but it just didn't make sense. It wasn't like she was on her deathbed and I could go visit her. It was just she was gone, and so I had to deal with that in my travels, like to balance doing something so incredible that meant the world to me and grieving someone that I loved and wanted to be there for and would never see again. And I just had to hold that in my heart while having all these wonderful experiences. So I think that the book is kind of like that as well. There's a lot of humor to it, a lot of fun, obviously a lot of romance and love and new feelings. And so it's just about being able to hold people in your heart and use them as inspiration and just making. I don't think that the people who love us want us to be sad when they're gone, right? They want us to live our best lives and honor them in that way. So I think I did my best to bring that to the book in the best way that I could.
I'm so sorry to hear about your grandmother. I think you had the absolute right approach by honoring her in your life, in the way that you lived your life. Now, what inspired the inclusion of the turtle rescue, and what was the most interesting thing you found in your research?
So before I even started this book, I had the first scene in my head. I knew that there was going to be a sea turtle that crawls out of the beach in distress and that it needed to be rescued. I was lucky enough to grow up in South Florida where sea turtles are everywhere, and I've been lucky enough to just be wandering on the beach at night and just stumble across a baby sea turtle hatching just in nature. So going to Indonesia and getting the chance to snorkel with sea turtles was really incredible. There are a lot of sea turtle sanctuaries and like tourism events where they like schedule you to go watch sea turtle hatchings, which is a cool idea. But I never actually went to any of those sanctuaries in Indonesia. A lot of the volunteer and rescue information from the book is based off my time volunteering at a hands-off elephant sanctuary in Thailand. That's where like the admin part of that comes from, is from that experience for me. Um, I think animals are amazing. I think the earth that we live on is incredible, and it's our job to take care of it and do our best to protect it both for future generations of humans and animals. I think animal tourism can be incredible. It can be life changing. It can inspire people to want to be and do better, but we also need to make sure that we're doing it in a respectful way. For the most part, we should never be touching animals in the wild. The sanctuary that I worked at, the volunteers and the tourists, we don't feed the elephants. We definitely don't ride the elephants. We don't pet them. We don't walk beside them. It's 20 feet of distance at all times. And I just learned so much about what being a good steward of the earth and of animals means there. And I just wanted to put as much as I could into this book. So this book is not about elephants, it's about sea turtles, but a lot of the same messages apply. And a lot of the beach cleanup and the trash cleanup things are also things that are really important to me. I just think that if everybody did a little bit, that the world would be a much better place.
I love that attitude and completely agree with you. Now, last but not least, because I was kind of wondering who you were picturing as you were writing, if you were picturing anyone, who would play Junie and Steven ideally in a movie adaptation of Turtley Into You?
I'm gonna be honest, I do not watch a lot of movies and I do not know actor names, so these are probably gonna be super outdated, but that's okay. I think Ryan Gosling would make a great blonde beached Aussie guy. I would love to see him be a scuba dive master and just flex his pecs and look gorgeous. And Junie, I gotta say, I think Blake Lively is the most beautiful, sunshiny woman in the world. I think she could be great. And I don't know, have Blake Lively and Ryan Gosling ever done a movie together? I know their ages aren't very similar, but I just think it'd be pretty cute. I think they would be magnetic on screen, and Blake Lively is the epitome of sunshine, so.
Those are great choices, and I need to see this happen now. Get on it, Hollywood. Thank you so much to Kyla Rowse for being here today to talk about her book, Turtley Into You, which was so fun and had so much heart, and I just loved it. It's a grumpy sunshine love letter to Indonesia. You will love it if you love traveling. You will love it if you are scared to travel. I really think you're going to enjoy it. So go check it out and join us next time on another Plotopsy.